because the higher you go, the more you're going to communicate to people that are in higher positions. So you want to be able to say things concisely and effectively, because when you get to that level, time is the main thing that they care about. My C-suite or whoever C-suite at your company, they want to know the who, what, the 5 W's, and that's it. All the extra, how's your day? They don't really care about that.
They don't care.
They don't have time for that, right?
That's why I'm smiling.
Yeah, so they just say what you need to say, formulate it concisely and effectively. That is a huge skill, and you're able to learn a lot more and teach people a lot more when you're able to do that.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Techwoke podcast. I am your host, Chris. I am a GRC specialist in the federal government space. On this podcast, we talk about cybersecurity, career, and life. And on this podcast today, we have a very, very, very special guest. His name is Nigel Boston. He is a cybersecurity specialist, cyber intelligence analyst. He got into cybersecurity with basically no experience. He didn't have no degrees or anything. He worked his butt off for a year and got inside the field. And without further ado, we have Nigel Boston. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you. We on Sunday. I remember we talked, and I was like, whenever you in town, I was like, we gonna do this.
Oh yeah.
We gonna do this.
I told you I'm coming down for a conference. I was gonna pull up on you.
Now, I got you. What can you tell the audience what conference you're here for? Or?
So I'm here for the SANS Cyber Threat Intelligence Summit.
Okay.
So I'm here for a couple of days, networking with a lot of different cyber threat intelligence analysts from all over the world, and here to, network and get some more knowledge.
I got you. So you in this field, we always got to network, get better knowledge. This is the only field where you can't be stagnant. You always got to keep learning.
Absolutely.
I know your friends, family, and everybody be like, man, what are you doing?
Right.
But you got to, you trying to secure the bag. You want the bag, don't you?
Oh,
you know
absolutely. Absolutely, man. So it's all about networking and being able to expand your network so it can elevate your net worth, right? So that's why I go to conferences, network with people like you and other people that, that are in the tech space, that are spreading the knowledge of how to get into these careers. So, anything that's about networking, I'm there.
And to sum it up, man, you just got to straight up talk to dogs. You got to talk to dogs to get better, to sum that
100%,
up. You know what I'm saying?
100%, yeah.
And I know particular today, this is a playoff day,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Commanders fan, I know.
I'm a Colts fan.
You're a Colts fan.
We didn't make the playoffs, but
Yeah. Hey, I know you're checking it out though. You're trying to see.
Oh, 100%. I'm rooting for the Commanders, man. Jaden Daniels, he's doing something special this year. 100%.
Yeah, I've been watching Jaden Daniels I've been watching him since college. I'm a big college football fan. I like Colorado.
Okay.
Also I like Maryland, but I'm a big Colorado fan. I was watching him. I was like, Jaden Daniels ain't gonna do nothing. I said, this is a fluke. I watched him when he was taking stuff out his locker.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Look at him now.
Hey. Rookie, he might be the first rookie to go to the Super Bowl.
If you go to I gotta find some way to get down there. I gotta sneak in. I gotta be a backup dancer to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
I might pull up. Man. That would be crazy. This might be like monumental.
Yeah, this is NFL history, and we actually get a chance to witness this. You know how they be like 70 years old. Yeah, the last time this happened 70 years ago. I'm like, I was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta go.
Nah, I feel you, bro. So. Bro, we had you on the podcast many, many, many times. You know what I'm saying? You was one of the first people that you actually came to me. You said, hey, bro, I want to come on the podcast. And that really got to me because I'm like, bro, I only got 100 subscribers. I'm like, why you want to come on my podcast? And I was like, and then, yeah.
Yeah, not to cut you off, man, not to cut your wisdom, but it was because I saw what you were doing. You're being authentic, right? A lot of people that are in this space that are trying to, talk about tech and, sell courses and things of that nature, it kind of muddied the waters. And I saw the content that you were posting, and I knew I wanted to support that because I knew where you were going. I knew where you were going to be able to help others get into this field. So I wanted to be a part of that and help you in any way I could. So, I said that years ago, and now look where you're at now. You're in a beautiful studio, doing big things, getting great numbers, and you're going to continue to grow. So,
man, you almost got a tear in my eye, man. It's coming. It's coming. But, I appreciate you, bro. And that's for you support me. I always try to support you in whatever I'm doing. Whenever you say you need something, hey, I'm going to be there. Whatever I can do, that's in my space. But most definitely. I remember last time we were talking. Also, go back to the when you were talking about authentic content. Even online, like, Can you give some knowledge on how to find authentic content to follow in cybersecurity? Because it's hard to find it, man.
That's a good question. Cybersecurity specifically is you want to do what we call ascent, right? You want to do some open source intelligence and do some research on the people that you are following on cybersecurity. Do they actually have a job in cybersecurity? This is easily Googleable, if that's a word, things that you can look up, right? So first things first is do some research on that individual. Do they have any, credentials? Like, are they credible? What have they done in the field? How long? Just do that initial research. Look at the content that they're posting. Is it authentic? Are they truly trying to help you, or are they just always trying to sell you a course about something? And if they're selling a course, what is entailed in that course, right? Is it more just, 6 months of just, theoretical type of knowledge, or are they giving you hands-on skills, right? Because that's what matters. You can learn all this stuff open source for free, but the hands-on kind of labs and skills that you're going to learn through these boot camps and courses is what's going to help you go past interviews and things of that nature. So that's how you can find that kind of content on the internet.
Yeah, and even as me, I evaluate a lot of people. I know when people are real. You're one of the real ones. Trick is, I just talk to you. If you saying certain terms, you can ChatGPT some terms. You know what I'm saying? Just ask them. They can't it off the top of their head. Then nah. And then two, just go on their LinkedIn. I think my biggest thing is you don't have a LinkedIn and you're a SME or a professional. That's a red flag to me. That's just me.
Yeah. It could be. I know some individuals like to keep a private kind of, persona on the internet, especially like in cybersecurity. But if you are someone who wants to be, let's say, a content creator or an influencer and things of that nature in the field, you should have, some kind of reference point that people can go back to and say, this person saying, I'm a security engineer. Well, let me go to your LinkedIn and confirm that, right? Do you have the work history? Are, some of the skills that you have on there, are they endorsed by people in that field as well? So that's how, I feel like if you're going to be in this space, that you should have some reference point that people can go back to and confirm that you are who you say you are and you're legit, right?
Yeah, and read those comments too, because people that's not in this space and they saying something crazy, you're gonna get them in the comments. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
I'm scared. I'm like, let me just make sure I don't say the wrong thing, because I have gotten a couple like, you don't know nothing. What are you talking about? Or we gonna get to another thing. Like, even the big debate is RMF technical or non-technical. We're still debating it to this day. I don't know. Yeah. So
I don't even get into debates like that. Being technical and non-technical is irrelevant, right? It's about getting the job that you want, being able to flourish, and what is the cap, right? If you're in a non-technical role and you want to get into a technical role because there's more money in the technical road, then go to the technical road. Someone who's non-technical versus who's technical doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? We're all collecting a paycheck and trying to take care of our families.
Hey, we all getting paid, so it shouldn't be a battle of that, know. So I get it 100%. So Nigel, we're not going to go into the beginning of your life. We have done that. Tell me, you're a cyber threat intelligence analyst currently, right?
Correct.
Tell me what's been going on lately.
Yeah, so I'm a lead cyber threat intelligence analyst.
Oh, you're a lead now.
Oh yeah, I'm a lead.
Okay. Big things, man. Congrats.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, what's going on, basically high level for a cyber threat intelligence analyst is, we're staying up to date with the current threats in the threat landscape, right? And not only just staying up to date with everything, but what's relevant to your organization. That's the most important part, right? So from there, staying up to date with the different threats, the different threat actors or adversaries or APTs, whatever you want to call them, and understanding how that affects your security posture, right? What type of zero-day vulnerabilities that are going on that may affect your tech stack, what kind of nation states that may be targeting your infrastructure. These are the things that are very important in the day of a cyber threat intelligence analyst, and being able to take large data sets of what we call intel, right? Intel is what data that's been analyzed, right? We're not just pulling stuff from random things. We're taking data that's open source or maybe, not open source, closed source, and being able to analyze that in different ways and then disseminating that to the right stakeholders, right? That can be your CISO, C-suite level. That could be the vulnerability management team. That could be GRC. And, that is what intel is, right? Is being able to help decision makers make better decisions based off the intelligence. So that is my role. Being the lead, what I am doing is implementing the whole program, right? So I'm building a cyber threat intelligence program from scratch and being able to work with different stakeholders in the business, legal, C-suite. I talk to, executives daily, legal, and things of that nature to be able to help mature our security posture. So that's what my days have been, as of late. And I really enjoy it, man. Cyber threat intelligence it's a very niche part of cybersecurity, right? You don't hear a lot about, courses and certifications about it because it's a very specialized subset kind of skill that I wouldn't say is entry level, but it could be with the right mentoring and coaching and depending on what your aspirations are, right? If you're a very curious person, that field might be for you, right? Mm-hmm. If you're good at writing, right? A lot of journalists are in cyber threat intelligence because they're able to take that information and put it into a report where different stakeholders can read it, right? So being able to write is a good skill.
Okay. So I get it. We're going to get to that, how somebody should get in there. But first off, I want to congratulate you as a black man in this field to become a lead with no degree background, literally working your butt off for a whole year to get this. I just want to commend you for that.
I appreciate that, man.
100%,
Appreciate that.
And then back to the cyber threat analyst, like it's very important in the field. Number one, cybersecurity is huge. Mm-hmm. Just understanding, like, for example, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Salt Typhoon. All these vulnerabilities. Okay, of course. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's a new Discord vulnerability. Like, these are important. The public doesn't know. They're like, I'm just going to go on my phone and just do this. No, It's very important because you have to analyze. And I used to be an intel analyst in the government. It's a regular intel analyst. So you have to do research to know what's going on and how to secure your program. Can you kind of break down, like, what's kind of like the day-to-day of a cyber intelligence analyst?
Yeah.
Cyber threat intelligence analyst, I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Day-to-day would probably be starting off with reading your different sources, different blogs, different intel feeds that you have, right? So what new, breaches, ransomware attacks, supply chain attacks that have happened that are relevant to your organization. I have to keep saying that that's an important part of being a cyber threat intelligence analyst. We're not just reading everything. I mean, we may be, but we're only pulling stuff or have, ways of disseminating or receiving that information that's relevant to us. Mm-hmm. So the first thing first is I'm reading news on what's important to my organization. After that, I'm analyzing that, right? There's different methods to do that. Some of them you might be familiar with hearing about the MITRE ATT&CK framework,
I know.
right?
I know MITRE.
That's one. There's something called the cyber kill chain, right? And there's something also called the diamond model. So those models or frameworks is what we use to analyze that data that's coming in and seeing how that affects our infrastructure or, our company. Something else that we may do is, keep up to date with vulnerabilities, right? There's always vulnerabilities coming out. So how is that relevant to my organization? Do we have that specific software? Do we partner with that third party? So those are other things that we're grabbing that data, analyzing it, and turning that into intelligence. Something else we may do is basically partner with different parts of the organization, right? So understanding what are some of the needs, what are some of the gaps, right? A cool one would be, let's say your organization has a red team, right? Red teamers are basically trying to identify weaknesses within that organization ethically, right? So red teamers are ethical hackers. So how cyber threat intelligence comes into play is we're able to pull some of the threat actors' TTPs, right, and give that to our red team so they can test our defense mechanisms against that. Are we being alerted when we fire off this TTP? Does that get a detection? If it doesn't, then we are able to fill those gaps with the detection engineering team, and all that started from the cyber threat intelligence.
Okay, and I like how you. Oh, that's a great explanation. I didn't even know about some. I knew about some of the frameworks, but I didn't know about the diamond, and I know about kill chain. But for example, like I like how you say for my system, because some systems, like for example, you can have an Apache vulnerability, right? And it's for Red Hat systems. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, I'm right on that, right? I'm just making sure. I'm trying to give you that little.
No, you good.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So,
Linux, yep.
So you're pretty much going to study what applies to that, so you can make sure the organization is safe. But if y'all doing that, why you keep seeing all these hacks? MGM and all this stuff. What's going on with that? Can you break that down?
Yeah. So basically, what goes on is there's different mechanisms, but different mechanisms to start a breach, right? So if you're, in the field of cybersecurity, you know that most attacks, ransomware, supply chain attacks, the initial access point is grabbing credentials from, that's high level. That's one of the TTPs, initial access, leak credentials. But one of the main things is phishing, right? End users are always going to be your most vulnerable weakness part of the organization, right? Because they are more, that's the one caveat that we can't put a layer of defense upon, right? If a user clicks on a bad email, the only way to combat that is what we call security awareness or training, right? Sending out those phishing simulations to make sure that employees that are, clicking on a lot of phishing are, raise flags for that security awareness team so they can help them and train them so they're stop doing that. So I would say phishing is one of the main reasons why we see a lot of these attacks, but also employees that are using credentials that are in, your companies on, like, let's say personal devices, like you're logging into Netflix with your company email, right? So when you do that on your personal device may have malware on it, right? From there, the threat actor can grab those credentials, which are your company email, and then use that to then, use different attacks like brute force and things of that nature to try and get into your company. So a lot of the attacks that we see lately into some high level trends is ransomware, supply chain attacks, and, the AI side of things are kind of, slowly creeping up. But, those are some of the attacks that we see.
Yeah, because I say that too with end users. You have to make sure they're doing their cybersecurity awareness training, but also too they got at least have better passwords and things also because you can brute force that anytime. I can do that if I wanted to. It's easy.
Yeah, but the security team should send those parameters though, right? The company should have those complexities where the password has to be a certain length. You can't use certain words, things of that nature to help, layer that defense. Because at the end of the day, if we leave it up to the end users, their passwords would be their birthday and things of that nature. So it would be very easy for threat actors to crack that.
Okay, so I just want to kind of go into some of the trends you're seeing. Because obviously you study this on a daily basis. You kind of touched on it with a little bit with what you was referring to. Ransomware. I know ransomware, they've been hitting heavy with the crypto,
Yeah.
And even with AI, can you kind of break those down a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the trends like ransomware, we're seeing a lot of these big companies.
Can you explain what ransomware is?
Yeah, ransomware is essentially where a threat actor is able to get some type of credentials or get into your system, and they'll decrypt something that is valuable to your organization, right? And from there, they'll send a ransom note telling you that basically you need to pay this ransom, and we'll give you the keys or whatever, so you're able to get that data back. And that is if they haven't already leaked it, right? So there's and there's other different attacks like double extortion, things of that nature. But high level, that's what it is. So we see ransomware, we see supply chain attacks. That's basically where a third party gets breached and then you're integrated with them. And then now your data is also leaked into that. And then, obviously it's a chain reaction. And then AI is something where I wouldn't say it's a trend, but it's something that, obviously is the talk of right now, generative AI and all, things of that nature. But what is interesting is some of the threat actors are using deep fakes, right? So they're pretending to be, executive in a company, log into a Teams a Teams meeting and pretend to be that executive and say, hey, I need a $50,000, expense or whatever to get that out, and then use that mechanism. So that is being, used, and companies are definitely keeping an eye on that, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Cause I think in the past, I didn't believe AI was good. So I mimicked my voice, I had myself call somebody to see if they'll think it was me, and they really thought it was me.
Really?
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then to actually hear, there's actually people calling companies and pretending, and they're actually going through it. These deep fakes is getting crazy. Because I've seen what you can do with AI video-wise. I use AI for my own business, but it's getting crazy, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Even with editing, for example, if I put some video in and I don't like what I said, I can put in my voice. I can make it say something just over mimicking my voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's...
Yeah. I I wouldn't say scary. It's something that we should be cautious of, right? Because while there are bad sides to it, there's also good sides. Like for example, you're using it for editing. People use it for prompt engineering and being able to do daily tasks that are repetitive. So it's all about, there's a lot of gray area, but the biggest thing is what to do is staying up to date with it, right? Being able to understand what are some of the flaws and what are some of the strengths, and making sure that the biggest thing is what you're actually putting into that prompt isn't anything that you don't want in the ether, right? Because once you type into the ChatGPT, it is there. Anyone can access it. So that's why companies are very weary of allowing you to use it, because if you put any company data in there, it is now open source and anyone can use it.
I agree 100%. So, like, even with the government, I work in the federal space. Like, you know, in the federal space, we have our own version of ChatGPT, but a lot of people's like, why can't we just get it? Because we put some documents in there, it's going to be to the world.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to ask you, so like in cyber threat analyst, like how do you evaluate, is there any way to detect this AI, see if it's in its flaws, or say, for example, it's a deep fake? Is there any way to determine that?
I would say it's more, so that's a little bit more to the GRC side, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
what, they have something called AI governance. I'm not as exposed to that side, but I do know there are guardrails that you could implement while these companies do purchase, let's say, a license with like Microsoft Copilot, right? There's probably guardrails that they can put in where something, if you're inputting some kind of company data, that it may bring off an alarm, right? And you know, whoever's doing the governance part of that could check out what was actually put in there. But it's a lot of gray area.
Yes, it's gray right now, and that's why I'm so getting into it myself, because even for the field now, it's a big gray area. We don't really know how to attack it right now, so we're kind of just playing it by ear.
Yeah.
When I first got into tech, I was green. I was lost in the details, unsure of it all. Then one day I had my woke moment and everything clicked. The pieces came together and things just got better. The moment of clarity inspired me to create Tech Woke clothing. For those that have had the same awakening, this is for the tech community that's woke to what's next. Step into the future with cutting edge designs, smart fabrics, and fashion that evolves with you, bold and intelligent, sustainable, and get your merch. Join the Tech Woke movement. Wear the future. Shop now at shoptechwoke.com. Thank you. Yeah, so can you kind of break down, like, you got into a cyber threat intelligence analyst with basically no experience, am I correct?
Right.
So can you kind of break down to the audience how to even get in this role? Because it seems like it's a lot of reading. And is it technical?
Some parts of it.
Okay.
Depending on what path you want to go down.
Can you break sometime the technical part, or break down the paths, kind of break it down?
Yeah. So if high level, I would say depending on what company you're at or what sector, depends on what type of cyber threat intelligence role you may do, right? There's a vulnerability intelligence analyst. There's a malware intelligence analyst, right? Where their focus is understanding different malware families, things of that nature. Vulnerability intelligence analysts, they're focusing on vulnerabilities, right? But a high-level cyber threat intelligence analyst may need to know the three different types of intelligence, right? So there's strategic, operational, and tactical. Strategic is your C-suite. That's your stakeholder, your focus, right? Mm-hmm. They want to know what is going to keep me up at night. That is their PIR, their requirement, that their intelligence requirement that they may want to know. What is going to keep me up at night? What type of threats? Is it ransomware? Is it nation state? What is it? Operational intelligence is your everyday use, right? So this is where intelligence analysts are gathering different IOCs, indications of compromise, domains, IP addresses, file hashes. They are now grabbing that kind of information from the different reports, internal logs, and disseminating that to the SOC. That may be one stakeholder, right? So the SOC can see if there's any activity from these bad IOCs. Another operational intelligence will be zero-day vulnerabilities. So if a new zero-day vulnerability comes out, I pass that on to the vulnerability management team so they can prioritize patching for that vulnerability if it affects one of our, what we call crown jewel systems, right? Those important systems. And then tactical is where we go into the behavioral, right? We're understanding the behavioral aspects of these threat actors. There are different TTPs, right? techniques, and procedures? What kind of tools are they using? What kind of tactics have they used at previous breaches? And we may pass that on to the incident response or red team. They're going to be able to look for those TTPs and those indicators in our environment, and then be able to go test and hunt for those to see if that's any kind of malicious activity in our infrastructure. So that's basically what the different paths that you could do and fall into one of those buckets of intelligence.
Oh, that's amazing. You really broke it down. I felt like I was a college student. I'm like, I didn't even know, because cyber is really big.
Yeah.
Even in that field, it's like, okay.
Oh yeah. What I've learned is that a skill that's very underutilized, but I think is very important to help you separate in not only cyber but every field, is soft skills like communication. What I broke down, people may study for months just to understand those 3 different types of intelligence. But if you're able to communicate it effectively and concisely, an everyday person who's not in the field can understand what that is, right? So when I mentor people, one of the first things I work on is communication. So I make sure we have a long conversation so I can see how you communicate. That, I'm not trying to like profile you, but I want to make sure that you understand that skill set and how important it is. Because the higher you go, the more you're going to communicate to people that are in higher positions. So you want to be able to say things concisely and effectively, because when you get to that level, time is the main thing that they care about. My C-suite or whoever C-suite at your company, they want to know the who, what, the 5 W's, and that's it. All the extra, how's your day, they don't really care about that.
They don't care.
They don't have time for that, right?
That's why I'm smiling.
Yeah, so they just say what you need to say, formulate it concisely and effectively. That is a huge skill. And you're able to learn a lot more and teach people a lot more when you're able to do that.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, because even when I coach people, some people don't put everything on a resume like it's the truth. But you got to be able to, even if you do it, I don't condone it, you know what I'm saying? But even if you do it, I was helping somebody recently, and they can talk about the above. But in our fields, we can tell if somebody don't know what they're talking about. Like, you got to be able to talk like you really there.
Oh yeah.
And if you can't convince me, I'm not going to send you out to that person, because you ain't going to convince them.
Oh yeah. I'm very big on that. When I mentor people, I ask few key questions to let me know how much research you've done. So a lot of people want to get into cyber. Obviously, they hear about the 6-figure job and work from home, and you get to go to Starbucks every day, all these, things, right? But if you want to get into this field, I ask, okay, I want to get into cybersecurity. What do you want to do? I want to do what you do. Okay. Why? Well, you make this much money.
That's all they say.
Okay.
Money.
So you just saying that tells me you've done no research. You may lack the ambition that you think you have, but you don't have the understanding of what it's going to take to actually get into the field. I tell people, treat cyber like if you wanted to be a doctor. It's the same work. You can't expect to be a doctor in 3 months or 6 months with doing minimal work. Cybersecurity is that sophisticated, right? Yes, there's entry-level jobs. Are they hard? Yes, to get into. Why? There's so much competition. Everyone wants to get into cyber. You got to put the work in, right? So I think that if you are able to have a roadmap, discipline, and network, and put the work in, you will be able to get into cyber.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, even when I coach people 6 figures, I'm losing my hair trying to get 6 figures. Literally, I'm losing it. I'm like, I was losing it last year. I got to put on all the Miracle Grow. Ladies in the room, if you know something, help me out. But I will say communication is key. I'm going to go back to the communication, because even when I first started, I didn't know nothing. I'm on a meeting with the top people, and basically they laughing at me in the Teams message because I don't know what I'm doing. And and I had to, like you said, you had to treat it like a doctor. I stay in late, come in early, and then too, like even with communication, I've noticed even something I do now. I'd be like, because these people in the higher ups, they pay attention to every word you say. So if you say, oh yeah, we don't have no more documentations we have to write, oh, that's what they think. So you got to be very careful about what you say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but can you kind of go into a roadmap? Because I like how you hit roadmaps. I love roadmaps because, for example, if somebody wants to become an intel analyst. No, I'm sorry. somebody wants to become a pen tester. You just can't. We both know. Even it's hard to become a pen tester.
Absolutely.
Can you kind of give a roadmap on how to become an intel analyst from somebody with no experience?
Yeah, 100%. The first thing I would say is evaluate yourself. Are you a curious person? Do you like to read? Are you able to analyze large data sets? Can you critically think? Do you like to talk to people? Are you able to communicate effectively? If you're able to do those things, then I would say find someone who's an intel analyst. That's the first thing. Find a mentor in the domain of security that you want to do. Reach out to them. Send them a message on LinkedIn. If they live in your city, try and meet up with them at one of the cybersecurity meets. Get to meet someone and build a relationship. That's the first thing. After you do that, you then ask that person for a roadmap in that field of intel. So if you're asking me, I'm going to say the first thing you need to do is learn basic security fundamentals, right? I would advise to study for the Security Plus. Not take it, but study the information because it's a very broad certification. It touches on everything, encryption, networking, all of that, right? If you want to take it, spend $300 or whatever it is now, take it.
It's like $300.
Yeah. Okay. So it's going to help you, right? From there, you should practice building an RSS feed or staying up to date with the different blogs, Hacker News, Bleeping Computer, Dark Reading. These are some of the blogs and open source intelligence feeds that talk about what's going on in the threat landscape. You need to understand the lingo, the language. After that, you need to then practice building reports. Building a report using different writing styles. Bluff is just one of them that I'll mention. Then from there, you need to go back to the first thing. You need to network some more, meet some more cyber threat intelligence analysts and managers in the field, and understand what are the high demand skills at that time. What kind of intelligence analyst are you looking for? Are you looking for a vulnerability one, a malware one? Do you need one to come in here and build a whole program? What is a high demand skill that you need right now, or what's going on in the marketplace, right? And then the last thing I would do is have discipline throughout the whole thing. It's not a one-day thing or a one every other day thing. You need to do that every single day until you get to your goal. Because you can't expect to take, this is how I look at it. You can't expect to take 2 days off and then go back 2 days later and be like, okay, I'm that much closer, while the person across the street is doing it 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day, whatever the case may be, right? You need to have that discipline that every day, if it's 3 hours, I'm doing those 3 hours, and learn everything about cyber threat intelligence. So that would be the roadmap for me, is meet someone in that field, get them to build you a good roadmap. So they're going to get all the fluff and all the rabbit holes you're going to go down looking at all these YouTube videos, all these TikTok videos, like what's a day in the life of a cyber threat intelligence analyst? You're going to watch like 10 of those. Get that out of there. Get the mentor. He's going to give you a concise roadmap. Learn this. Go do that. Circle back, network some more, and then meet people, interview, mock interviews, do all those things, and you will achieve. You put the work in, you will achieve. The only thing that you won't achieve is when you stop. If I'm saying I'm going to do 50 push-ups and it takes me 50 years to do it, if I keep trying, I'm going to do it eventually.
Yeah, because I love what you're saying. I love how you broke down the analogy. I loved everything you said. Just don't give up, because even when I was studying to get in it, there was no women. There was I wasn't going out with friends. I literally isolate myself in a bubble every time I get off work, because I was like, listen, this is like the NBA for us. Yeah. That's the only way we're going to well, it's not the only way we can make it out, but it can change your lives, especially now with the incoming administration. Absolutely.
The field of technology is only growing. I know people now who make as much as athletes and entertainers in the field.
I think most people, because they ain't making no money.
They're not. So it's all about being disciplined, following your roadmap, and achieving what you need to achieve. You were speaking about some of the sacrifices that you made. We've talked about the ones I've done in real time, documented. I call it monk mode, right? I went I went 8 months, no going out, no friends, no dating, none of that. I saw where I was at currently doing the job I did previously. I said, I know there's more for me out there. I said, I'm going to learn cybersecurity.
And your friends thought you was crazy, weren't they?
Oh, they thought I was crazy. Everyone did.
Yeah, they thought I was insane. My
what?
friend had to check on me. He said, hey, you good, bro?
Yeah.
You good? Yeah, I'm
Had
good.
to do wellness checks, man. Like,
knock on the door. Hey,
yeah.
bro, you cool?
I'm good. I'm grinding right now. I'll see y'all in a little bit.
And how do they see you now?
Man, it's a kind of a surreal moment because they're all now reaching out to me about getting into the field, and I love it. You know, right? Because they changed my life, and I know it's going to change theirs.
Yeah, because even listening to you, bro, it inspires me. You know, I'm in the field, but it's like, it inspires me because, like, even like you don't know this, but when somebody asks me how to get in certain, I say, watch him. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
Are you passionate about tech, cybersecurity, social change? Join the Tech Woke movement on Patreon. Get exclusive access to discussions on emerging tech trends, cybersecurity insights, and valuable resources to help you get hired in tech, learn from others in the community, exchange ideas, and gain skills that will help set you apart whether you're a developer, enthusiast, or looking to break into the industry. This is your space. Support the movement, stay ahead of the curve, and be a part of the change. Join us today on Patreon.com/TechWoke. I see you there. So Nigel, I hear all the good things and how to get into cyber threat analysts and things like that. I just want to know, I'm not big on money, but can you kind of give like the entry, mid, and high level roles on how much you can make in the field?
Yeah. So for cyber threat intelligence, I would say entry to mid level, the range would probably start at about 120 to 150. If you're in the lead or let's say senior level, you could look anywhere between 150 and 180, depending on what sector you're in, things of that nature. But I would say that field of cyber threat intelligence is definitely lucrative. I would also point out that cyber threat intelligence is a luxury, right? Most companies might not have a full-blown program because you have to be mature at some point to be able to incorporate that. Most companies may outsource it, third party, or they may have like their SOC do some type of cyber threat intelligence work. But to have a full-blown cyber threat intelligence program at a company, they're somewhat mature.
Okay, so yeah, because like you said, I don't like when they outsource. I think a bank just did that recently. I think they got some big trouble, but yeah, I understand. So that's some good prices. I mean, I'm sorry, those are some good salaries you can make in the field, and it's really exciting. But again, to the audience, don't see the salaries as you can get paid, but I'm pretty sure Nigel works his butt off. His family be like, what you doing? What's going on? Trust me, I do the same thing. I've been in the house. I keep saying I'm busy, I'm tired. They're like, you always busy. I'm like, I'm doing an ATO, and people in my field, it's a authorization to operate. So we're getting a new accreditation. So it's
I just learned something new.
Yeah, I got you. In the government space, they call it in the government space.
Okay.
There. Yeah. So with AI, I just want to get back on the AI trend. I'm from me going to conferences and going to talks and things like that. I keep hearing that AI can be used to enhance cyber threat intelligence or just a detection of AI. Have you been seeing that? Yeah.
So using LLMs and generative AI, what you're able to do is be able to analyze large data sets quickly with prompt engineering, right? So it will take some of the workload off of, let's say, a team that's doing a lot of manual work. But at the end of the day, you're always going to need that human touch, right? So I'm no expert in the space of AI, but I'm very big on learning, right? So what I've been doing is practicing prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is essentially knowing how to write certain prompts to get certain outputs. So, and how that can help my day to day. So that's what I do and how I utilize generative AI. But there's also, threat actors who use it to do different types of different attacks, right? Making phishing emails a lot more sophisticated, right? It may look exactly like it's coming from a regular sender. So
yeah, even I've been hearing some people put in like even tokens, like they can get matching tokens, and that's virtually impossible. Like token authentication, and because it gives you a random number, and I'm like, if it's getting that, it's getting scary. I don't trust AI, but I will use it to help my day get longer. I will use it to help me with my career to help it, expedite, because you have to adapt to it.
Yeah.
Even though I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
But can you kind of explain like some of the faults of AI from your experience? I mean, one thing I will give you is I noticed with AI you can put things in, but it's not good at research.
Right, because it's only set to like a certain parameter. So I think ChatGPT can only pull open source data from like October of the previous year or something like that. So it's only going to be able to pull, data from a certain period of time, right? That's open source. So you have to keep that in mind. So if you're trying to, ask it stuff for real time kind of things, like it's not going to be as useful. But there's ways, like I said, going back to the prompt engineering, that you can word things to get a certain output. So like for me, I'm using it to help, like, let's say I wanted to study for the CISSP, output me a study guide to take a CISSP in the next 3 months with all the domains, any practice questions I need to know, things of that nature. That's how I would utilize it, or day-to-day tasks. One thing you could do is, internally, like on your personal device, let's say you get all your emails, write a prompt to, summarize those emails, prioritize it by most importance, and reply to them, or things of that nature. So those are some ways you can use generative AI in a positive way. But also I want to reiterate, what you put in there and ask it for and things of that nature goes into the ether and will always be out there.
It's always going to be out there forever. Even my I was using AI recently. I was using ChatGPT, I open AI, whatever,
Mhm.
and it was telling me it's going to remember everything I said, so it's going to use it for the other stuff you asked me. So
Yeah, you're basically training the model. Every time you put a prompt in there, you're training the model to, sound more like you and things of that nature.
So do you think that everybody should use AI, and you think more companies are going to adapt it more? Do you think that's going to help them
100%.
grow their career?
100%. We're in the space of technology. Technology is always evolving. We say in cyber it evolves, usually every 3 years. So to think like, to have the mindset of, oh, I'm not going to use AI, it's scary and blah, 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 blah. To the public, they think this just happened, but generative AI has been out for a long time. It's just being more mainstream with, the revealing of open AI, right? But as professionals, we need to understand it, adapt to it, and learn and utilize it for, the right reasons, and understand what are some of the faults and threats of using it as well.
Yeah, because even at my company, some of the older folks, I don't want to use it. I was like, well, you about to be out of the job. These younger cats about to come take over your job.
Oh, man. A quick gem is a trend that I see coming that's going to be very important in the field of not only cybersecurity, but in technology, is machine learning and generative AI, right? Those people who have the knowledge of being able to create these LLMs, train these models to do a lot of these repetitive tasks, are already ahead of the game. So let's say your job is as an administrator to set, meetings up, do emails, all that things that can be automated from a data scientist or say a machine learning person who can automate all of that with generative AI, create a chatbot or anything like that, and your job is gone.
Basically, like even like people have virtual assistants and assistants now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing, and I've been knowing about AI agents for a long time. This is starting to get mainstream because this is the year of it. Man, these AI agents, they can create social media content, run everything, book a flight for you.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So you gotta adapt. Can you kind of tell me, like, I know you're doing cyber threat intelligence analyst. Is there anything you're working towards to in your career?
Yeah, great question. So being in cyber threat intelligence, for me, I have aspirations of getting into the leadership, space in
CISO?
corporate America.
Okay.
Yeah, CISO. Yeah, I think we spoke about that a little bit. But yeah, that's one of my, aspirations that I will achieve, is to get to a CISO level.
Yeah, I love it. Are you trying to become? I know we talked about. Are you trying to get in a red team also? Or are you?
Yeah. So
Tell me about that.
yeah. So red teaming, I like it a lot. Being able to understand what these attackers are doing and some of the, techniques and tools that they use, and, partnering and understanding what red teaming is, penetration testing, being an ethical hacker. It's, that's a fun side of cybersecurity. A lot of people who hear about cybersecurity think we're all just hackers, right? Everyone just thinks we're just here hacking
some guy with light up shoes.
Yeah, we're sitting in a basement with like a black hoodie on, and no. Truth be told, being on the red team side is very difficult. You need to learn. It's extremely difficult.
They talk a different language.
They talk the whole language of security.
Yeah, basically.
To be on the red team, you have to understand the red team and the blue team. you need to know what the blue team is doing to defend against what you're trying to do, right? So being on the red team is very difficult, but it's also very exciting when you're doing the attacking, right? When you're in a safe environment, right? But there's also a bad side to it too. They write reports, long 10-page reports about everything they do. They have to document it, right? So yes, you're, spinning up VMs and C2 servers. These are command and control servers. These are like some of the things the bad guys do, but all that stuff has to be documented to be able to give to the organization so they can read it and do input and implement the defense mechanisms that they need to help their organization, help their security posture. So red teaming is fun. I like it. I've enjoyed it. I've been learning. I've been studying my OSCP as well.
Are you going for it?
I mean, I honestly, we talked about this off camera. I was like, usually I'll take any cert or go to any conference as long as my company's paying for it, so.
Hey, I don't blame you on that one.
Yeah.
Research, these things expensive.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
But yeah, with OSCP, what is it, like 3 days straight? You gotta.
Yeah. It's a 3-day hands-on lab. I believe there's a report as well.
They record you the whole time.
Yeah, it's a beast.
It's a wow.
It's a beast, but it's I would say it's in the top 3 most respected certifications that you can get in security.
It's up there with CSSP. Oh, it's that, and there's another one. I think the CCIE is up there.
Yeah, I would say CISSP, OSCP, and like maybe one of the managerial one, like the CISM, or maybe the CISA. All of those are very expensive. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nigel, can you tell me about some of the some trends you're seeing in cybersecurity? Emerging technologies. I'm sorry. Can you tell me about some of the emerging technologies that you see coming up?
Yeah. I would say.
I know AI one of them.
AI definitely. I would say cloud security, man. Cloud security is a trend that I think people should definitely take a look at. A lot of organizations are moving away from on-prem and moving into the cloud with their assets. So learning cloud security from Amazon or Azure or GCP, learn that, man. That's going to be upcoming, and I see most, if not all, organizations are going to have some type of cloud implementation. Something else is cyber threat intelligence, right? That's a trend where companies are seeing the need for it, right? They need to be proactive, not reactive. You don't want to get hit with the ransomware and be like, okay, we need to start looking for that ransomware. You want to already know about it so then you can actually put proactive defense mechanisms to combat that. So cyber threat intelligence is a trend that I think people should hop on. Cloud security, incident response, man. I think incident response is definitely a field that I think a lot of, aspiring people who want to get into cybersecurity should check out. Being able to do forensic work, being able to look at logs and understand what happened in that incident, right? They're responding to an event that has already happened. And that's a skill that it's always going to be needed, right? We always say, we have a saying in cybersecurity, it's not if you're going to get hit with ransomware and attack, it's when are you going to get hit? Because everyone is going to have their day, right?
Facts.
So being able to get into that incident response realm means that you're going to have a job. It's going to be needed. It's going to be very important. A lot of my colleagues that are in that space, they get paid handsomely.
Yeah, even with incident response, I was talking to one guy. He's like, yeah, they sent me out and I had to, we hit with a ransomware attack. And I'm like, bro, like what are you doing? His stuff is encrypted.
Yeah.
And he finally admitted, oh, yeah, we got backups. Or like, do you have a backup or what? Because it's encrypted, you can't do nothing with it. So I'm like, you got to restart the whole thing. But I think people should just really back up these systems. I have backups for everything.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
100%.
Just in case.
That goes into the whole, BCM, the business continuity and disaster recovery realm of security, which is another domain that people should, take a look at. It's not, the sexy talked about realm of security, but that is cybersecurity.
It don't look good, but it pay good. Like, you think even GRC pays good money.
Yeah.
Really good money.
GRC is another realm that I like to tell people is, kind of entry level because it's not technical, right? Mm-hmm. You're able to understand some of the different frameworks, understand what some of the, compliances that you need to know and some of the, NIST and things of that nature. But yeah, GRC is another realm that if you're interested in getting into cybersecurity that you should check out.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Also, can you give some knowledge to just people that's just trying to get into cybersecurity? Period. How would
Yeah.
you tell them? And I know you broke it down for cyber threat intelligence, but how would you break somebody down trying to get into cyber just
Yeah.
regularly,
Regularly.
just any job in there?
100%. Do research. First step. Do research on what cybersecurity is and what are the different realms. There's GRC, there's SOC analyst, there's vulnerability management, there's business continuity, there's disaster recovery, there's identity, there's cloud security. There's many different realms. Do the research and figure out which one excites you, you're curious about. You want to do that every single day. That's the first step. Figure out exactly what you want to do in security. After that, find someone in that realm. LinkedIn, meetups, network, family members, whoever that is in that realm of what you want to do, reach out to them, network with them, genuinely network with them. Don't reach out to them and say, hey, I want to get a job in this realm. Can you help me? Tell them what your plan is, your aspirations, build a genuine connection with them, and ask them for a roadmap on how they can get into that field. After you receive that roadmap, go do the work. Discipline every day. Lock in monk mode. I went monk mode, 8 months.
I love it.
No fun, no fluff. I said I'm going to get in security, and I did it in 8 months.
Man, about your business. I love men like you that stand on business and really do what you got to do. Because even with me, I have very few men friends. But I only keep the best of the best males around because they need to help me get better.
100%.
Like people that won't say, you need to do this, you need to do that. But,
Yeah.
I love that you're doing what you're doing. And then I have a question for you. I get this a lot. Is cybersecurity hard? I say yes, but
100%. Cybersecurity is a very sophisticated field in technology, right? Tech is a very big realm, right? There's help desk, there's system administration, there's project management. But when you get into the security aspect of it, it's kind of held to a higher standard because we're protecting the data of the company. If the data of the company leaks, not only does it take a hit to it brand reputational, right? When you see and hear about all these different companies getting hit with these ransomware, like Ticketmaster or like, let's say like your credit card or whatever, you second guess and you start to think, should I still work with that company?
Yeah, I agree.
Right? So that's where security comes into place to protect that data from leaking. So that's why it's so important and why it's a very hard field to get into and high demand as well. Everyone wants to get into security because of not only the pay, but the high demand of the job security, right? No pun intended. But job security and security is a thing.
Facts. Yeah, because like I noticed with a lot of companies, they don't take cybersecurity. Actually, they get mad at us for telling them stuff.
Yeah.
So it's important, and I hope any companies watching, you need to definitely look into that. And I really appreciate you for breaking it down in that way. So Nigel, can you kind of tell me like where can the audience find you?
Yeah, 100%. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me the best way to find me would be on intelwave.net. Intelwave is my company where I do coaching. My cyber threat intelligence course is on there. And essentially, Intelwave is intelligence wave. Is making intelligence the wave. Being cool is the wave. Being smart is the wave. People have aspirations of being a ball player and entertainment. I want to make being smart and being intelligent cool, right? So learning about not only security, but cyber threat intelligence as well, is very important and, helping a lot of the new upcoming aspiring people to get into the field. That's where they can find me, intelwave.net. And that's where, a lot of my focus goes as well.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, even me, I'm like 6'4", 6'5", as you can see. And then everybody was like, football, basketball. But I'm like, bro, do you know you have to be the 1% of the entire United States.
Right.
To get in there?
It's like,
hey, I'm a ball player now. This is my ball. Tech is my ball.
Yeah, there you go.
Because they need a job. They ain't going to last. I mean, career being an athlete is not going to last too long. Hey, and if any athletes watching, just know, man, and any people of color that's watching, football is not the only thing. Right. Basketball is not the only thing. It's okay to do tech.
Yes.
Tech is the new wave in a way.
There you go.
Yeah. So
there you go. That's my new slogan. I'm stealing that.
You can have it. You can have it. So let me ask you something. Also, too, can you kind of leave the audience with a quote they can use to stay motivated while transitioning in their career?
Yeah, 100%. My quote would be, constant elevation requires expansion. So as you continue to climb the ladder, whether it's your corporate life, your personal life, you're going to need to expand, right? Whether that's meeting more like-minded people in that realm, expanding some of the businesses that you currently have, but constant elevation requires expansion.
Love it. That's like one, and I'm gonna ask you one last thing. So for the guests, I've been doing this new as of lately, and I always ask this out the blue so I can get you there. Can you tell me your tech woke moment?
My tech woke moment.
When you was in the field and you just had a epiphany, like, oh, this is just it's like in the Matrix, like you found what's it called? We found a way or whatever.
Yeah, my tech woke moment was when, I tell the story all the time, but this is where I was like, okay, this is where I know I'm in the right spot. I was talking to a colleague, and we were just basically talking about the different salaries and how you could get what the ceiling was in this realm. And I was like, hey man, like, how'd you know you like made it? Like you've been in cybersecurity for like 5-6+ years. He was like, when I got to the place where I was comfortable and knew that I could transition to any company I want based on my demand and skill set, and I had all my bills on autopay. Like, I don't think about money. Now I think about the comfortability and work-life balance. And I was like, yeah, I'm in the right realm.
Hey, so that's how you truly know you made it, because that's how I am now. I'm like, listen, y'all can fire me. Y'all can let me go, but just know y'all need me, and they ain't gonna let me go. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know y'all need me, so it's like that's how I feel. And if they do, I can find a job very easily. Yeah. So now I really appreciate. That's the best way to sum it up. Yeah. You can go anywhere. You hit ultra instinct.
If your skill set and you have high demand skills is at a very high level, you can find a job anywhere.
I love it. So Nigel, I really appreciate you coming on this podcast.
100%, man. I appreciate you.
Again, we're gonna keep doing it in the future.
100%.
Whenever I'm in your city, I'm in here.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna see what I can do. But I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So remember, everybody, if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below if you have any different experience getting to cybersecurity or being a cybersecurity threat analyst. Remember, subscribe to the newsletter, join the Patreon, check out the merch, and remember, everybody, get 1% better every day. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one.